from the University of Kansas, you're watching KUJH News.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Sierra Upton. The Kansas City Salvation Army is down $200,000 from last year, and Lawrence is also suffering. The Lawrence Salvation Army's kettle program is behind, being at only about 80% from where it was last year at this time. Director of Development Jim Evers attributes the struggle to the cold front that hit Lawrence recently and having one less week between Thanksgiving and Christmas than previous years.
It's that time of year when everybody, I think, in the mood to give and support the efforts, and we appreciate that. And this year just happens to be one in which we need that a little additional push. And the people in Lawrence are fabulous. They have always been extremely supportive of not only our cause but so many others.
The donations go toward providing services to Lawrence residents for anything ranging from youth programs to helping the homeless. The City Commission tackled several important issues at last night's meeting, one being a proposal by the Cultural District Task Force to add a new position at City Hall. Commissioners heard recommendations from the task force about the addition of a Director of Arts and Culture and a citywide cultural wellness plan. The task force said that last night was a step toward giving more respect to the Lawrence arts.
A lot of times I think for a lot of people the arts seem to be something that's out here. It doesn't concern them in their everyday life, and that people don't really realize that, you know, you're surrounded by the work of artists who chose the colors and the design of this bench and your camera, and you know, everything we deal with in life has to do with artists working on it.
Walsh said they haven't heard much opposition to the recommendations and called last night a success. Another topic on the commissioner's agenda was a vote on a resolution to provide an exception to the new concealed carry law for certain cities. Commissioners voted unanimously to pass the resolution, meaning guns will not be allowed in city buildings for the next 4 years. The City Commission also heard concerns about a lighting plan for Rock Chalk Park, according to the Lawrence Journal-World. 100-foot tall light poles have been installed at the park, but they have not been approved by the city. A lighting plan must be approved before any permits would be issued. Commissioners will meet with city planning officials in the next few days to go over the lighting plan. Investigators are still unsure what killed KU graduate student Gianfranco Villagomez Saldana. The 23-year-old's body was found behind a home in the 800 block of Avalon Road Monday afternoon, near where he was last seen, but in the opposite direction from where his friends thought he was headed. Members of Villagomez Saldana's family arrived from Peru on Monday. He's also mourned by the School of Engineering, where he was a member of the Society of Professional Hispanic Engineers. Director of Diversity Programs Florence Boldridge said he never missed a meeting and even volunteered to translate when individuals at events didn't speak English.
A few months back, I got there early and he walked in and I said, "Well, it's you." And he said, "Yes." I said, "So you're here?" And he said, "Well, can't miss out on pizza, you know." So just a kind person.
Autopsy results to confirm cause of death are expected sometime this week, but no foul play is suspected. The votes are in, and Time's Person of the Year for 2013 is Pope Francis. He's been dubbed the People's Pope for shifting the focus of the Catholic Church to be more positive and transparent. Francis has been in the news recently for his progressive views on topics like gay marriage and abortion, and for taking to the streets of Rome to give alms to the poor. Pop star Miley Cyrus and whistleblower Edward Snowden were among the finalists. Also in the top 10 was U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services and former Governor of Kansas, Kathleen Sebelius. Still to come on KUJH News, we'll take a look at who's most likely to text and drive according to a new study. Stay with us.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Welcome back. Now let's take a look at their weather forecast. Thursday, tomorrow, it's going to be clear in the morning, About 17 is what we're looking at. And as we move into the noon forecast, sunny, about 37 degrees. And as we move into the evening, clear skies, only about 32. And for your 3-day outlook, on Friday, we're looking at a 60% chance of snow and rain showers throughout the day, a high of only 39. And on Saturday, the high is just going to be 32 and cloudy throughout the day with still a pretty small chance of snow and rain. A new study conducted by AAA found that teens actually aren't the worst offenders of texting while driving. The study reported that only 20% of teens reported using cell phones fairly often, compared to 43% of adults ages 25 to 39. And 82% of those adults reported using a phone while driving. The least likely offenders are motorists older than 60, with just 7% using phones regularly while driving. James Haney of AAA gave a possible explanation to the results.
What perspective we might have on some of these findings is that that the very youngest novice drivers, the 16 to 18-year-old group, may be absorbing the constant safety messages related to distracted driving, and therefore choosing to use their cell phones less often while driving, while younger adult drivers, on the other hand, may have a false sense of confidence.
Other statistics from the study were that 2 out of 3 drivers used a cell phone while driving in the past month, and that 1 out of 10 fatal crashes involve a distraction. The interpreter who stood behind President Obama and other speakers at Nelson Mandela's funeral has been identified as a fake. Members of the deaf community watching the memorial quickly realized the man's signs had, quote, no meaning in either American or South African Sign Language. Investigators say they are still working to identify the interpreter, but the incident called into question the organization and security of the event. And that does it for your Wednesday news. For more KU and regional news, visit Kansan.com. I'm Sierra Upton. Have a great evening.